What it is, what it do. You know who it is. Who are you? We back again with Peter Guns and the 22 Toots.
Uptown, baby. We all the time, baby.
Listen,
Brooklyn.
free agency
Peter Guns is
frenzy.
crazy.
Free agency frenzy is going crazy. Legal tampering period started on Monday at noon.
That is the craziest thing ever. Legal tampering.
Legal tampering. Pause. But yeah, so all of legal tampering is started on Monday at noon. Guys can sign with their new teams to beginning Wednesday at 4. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't give Saquon 3 years, 38, but we gave Darius Slayton 3 years, 36.
Why are we living in the past?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Isn't
it
crazy that these guys can agree in principle to contracts? Hold on, wait. 1 second. Fun fact. Isn't it cool that people can agree to principle on contracts and still change their mind all the way up until Wednesday when they're able to actually sign those contracts? That's the crazy part. These deals are reported,
that's the beauty, man.
It's
the beauty of the system.
It's a gentleman's handshake, right?
Yeah, it's the beauty of the system.
See Blake Griffin in the past. They cornered him in his crib.
Oh, yeah.
You better sign this,
like
Blake.
You're not leaving,
It's the player's only chance to, you know what I'm saying, have some control over things. So they take full advantage. But we're going to go ahead and break down all the different moves. We're going to talk about everything that's happening, all the signings, all the potential signings. It's a lot of people calling two guys in the truck right now. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yes, sir. Of course, free agency players got the chance to test the waters, go out there, see what comes back. We let Saquon go out there. He didn't come back. But anyway, another player that stayed right where he is because they want to develop the Cleveland to Canton journey. Yeah, right. Myles Garrett, 4 years, 160 M's, 123 million guaranteed, 40 million per year. He becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Listen, we could talk about what motivated him to change his mind. Trade request came out a couple weeks ago. He want to get out of there. He want to compete. As far as I'm concerned, Brown still ain't got no quarterback. Deshaun Watson ain't coming. He ain't walking through that door. Ruptured Achilles basically twice. Re-injured that Achilles. So he's out literally all of next year. I don't see any scenario where he comes back. There's rumors and talks about them potentially drafting a QB in the draft, but coming into the Browns, rookie quarterback. Haven't seen much success there in the past couple of years, so we'll see. That remains to be seen what's going on there. But Sean, you seem to think maybe a little bit otherwise. Maybe Myles Garrett was like, this is where I want to be, part of the dog pound on that defensive line over there. But for me personally, money talks, man. 40 M's a year, that is hard to pass up. So he gonna stay right where he is, right where his family is. Everything's already set in stone. He's used to it. And I don't know, maybe player empowerment. He's like, yo, move me, somewhere along the line with a defensive end like that. We just seen what the Eagles did with their defense in the Super Bowl. Any team would be glad to take that talent. But Sean, what do you think motivated him to change his mind? Was it the M's, or does he know something else that's coming down the pike for the Cleveland Browns organization?
I think that it was a combination of both things. I think the money is a huge motivator because they said, look. And first of all, I think that the market was a big motivator. I don't think any suitors came to his doorstep that were Super Bowl contenders that said that they want I don't think anybody was willing to give up multiple first round picks for a player who's stepping into his to step into his 30s and still have to turn around and make him one of the highest paid defensive players in the NFL. I mean, it's just not a viable option. And then, the other option was the Cleveland Browns looked at him and said, well, Superman, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this, and this is exactly what you're going to make. And you're going to be the highest paid defensive player, non-quarterback in the NFL. It was an offer he couldn't refuse. And
where do I sign?
Myles Garrett is, basically. Myles Garrett is sixth or fifth on the list in terms of players that have the most sacks. He has 103 sacks before the age of 30.
Yeah.
He's already He's already going into the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So he's only going to get better. He hasn't had any major injuries. He's been playing with some knick-knack injuries over the last 2 years, but he's been able to push through. Listen, the change of heart came because
LeBron.
Yeah, bro. He's been rock solid, and you know the money definitely changes the conversation. You know what I'm saying? It puts him in a position where he can't refuse the deal. So I like this deal for the Cleveland Browns, but you know you kind of wonder what direction the team is going in. You know, with them pushing all their chips to the center of the table, how are they going to pay a quarterback if they do turn out and draft one? I mean, they picked up Kenny Pickett the other day. That does not move the needle. But at the same time, it gives them a viable
Franchise
option in
savior.
case they don't get the guy that they're looking for.
He's gonna get Kenny Pickett gonna get destroyed at minimum 2 games this year because Pittsburgh
Well,
not
Darnell.
back at all.
All in all, listen, all these franchises, what they try to do, the same thing you said Mara does with the New York Giants. You got to put butts in seats, right? And ain't nobody leaving the free agency to go to the Cleveland Browns because ain't nothing over there for them. So what do they got to do? Sign their biggest name, who in this situation is Myles Garrett. If you're a free agent, is Cleveland that looking like that destination for you because they re-signed Myles Garrett?
Nah. You know the hard thing about it is, and I mean this not in a messed up way. I really, really do feel something for the Cleveland Brown fans because for a franchise to be that down in the dumps for that long, and I'll never forget when they had Kelly Holcomb and that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on one leg, and they nearly beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they were showing it when that game changed the course of like how they both went, which is crazy. I still remember that game.
You are our generation's Mad Dog Russo. I just
Oh yeah. But it was a big one. It was a big one. You know, it's like when the Knicks played the Spurs.
Hand movements and all, right?
Kelly,
If you look when the Knicks played the Spurs from that 1998, look at the trajectory of the franchises. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's never to forget. So I don't think
not to steal your thunder, but the Browns need to find their guy. They need to find their.
They do. Like I said, the Deshaun Watson thing. As I said, bro, when you leave Houston, you can't get as much massages in Houston as you can, you know, like up in Cleveland, man. So,
wow.
You know what happened to the Browns though? No,
you know, so
if you play poker, the Browns they was like, we got Ace King. Right?
Yeah. and it just a snake bitten franchise, man.
We got Ace King, and they saw that first card turnover, and it was an ace. They're like, she got a pair of aces. All right, we gonna trade Baker, right?
Right. Well, but
we're gonna go all in on Deshaun.
Well,
it was a great idea. It was a great idea at the time.
It was a great idea at the time. It was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was.
Guy sitting next to him beat him with 3 threes.
Yeah. So I won't knock him for that. So what I would say, if the rumors are true about Cam Ward, like supposed rumors are, wherever Cam Ward gets drafted, Shannon Dawson is going with him, who's the offensive coordinator for the Canes. So I think there's a high possibility that Cam Ward might be the next, because the Browns are the number 1 overall pick, right? I'm pretty sure they're number 1 overall.
No, they don't. It's the Titans.
Tennessee.
The Titans. They're number 2.
So
Tennessee
but it's a high likelihood that there's going to be a bidding war, and they got to find their guy, you know. But I don't know if that'll happen. I think next year might be the chance for them. I think, you know, Myles Garrett, the fact that he did take it, I mean, I understand, you know, he wants to win, but, you know, you could be very happy with a lot of money, even if you don't win, and still go down and be a Hall of Famer, because he's on a Hall of Fame track.
Maneuvers.
So, if he wasn't a Hall of Fame player, you could argue and say, like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else. But arguably, you know, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Is it 3 or 4 time? I think he's got
6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team. He's not won a Defensive Player of the Year yet.
No, he hasn't won it, but
No, he has.
Oh, I think he has.
2020 in 2023.
Yeah, he did. He won one.
He got one.
Yeah.
I thought he had two.
2023.
I thought TJ and Aaron kept being in the way though.
Yeah, but that's what I'll say. I'm gonna cap it at that, man. So
Maneuvers. Did that contract fuck up the free agency signings for everyone? Did it fuck up the cap and how we view non-QBs, or is it just because it's Myles Garrett and the Browns?
So I'm gonna try to answer your question, but I need y'all to follow me, and I'm gonna do my best not to cut people off today. So I'm not cut off
I can't guarantee that.
I think what the Myles Garrett contract does is a good thing. I think paying players based on their worth and their impact to the game is the most important thing a franchise needs to do.
Shouldn't just be the QB.
Yeah, him being a defensive lineman getting paid that kind of money, people are like, just defensive lineman. Like, I look at it like his ability to impact the game is greater than most, just because of the sheer number of snaps that he's on the field. He plays a lot of snaps, and he has an impact on the game, whether it's a run play or a pass play. And I kind of pivot that thought to the offense side of the ball. You pay your quarterback a lot of money because they have the ability to impact the game on every snap that they're playing. Wide receivers get paid way more than running backs. And they don't touch the ball nowhere near as much. And they don't have the ability to impact the game as often. They do have the ability to impact the game when they do touch the ball, because they have a lot more opportunities for big explosive plays. So I would love to see that the mindset changes because of this Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett contract, and teams start kind of moving towards what the NBA does, where you're paid positionless, you're paid based on your impact to the team's ability to win. So we'll see what happens. I think Saquon kind of helped reset the market for running backs. I think we're going to start seeing guys probably get paid closer to what they're worth. That said, I mean, the 100 million a year quarterback is around the corner soon, so that's going to throw everything off.
So I could round out that thought, and you brought up some excellent points. That I think that more importantly, I think that top 10 players are going to get paid like that. You know what I mean? If you're a top 10 player in the NFL, you're going to get comparable money to the quarterback position. Also, the Bengals put their foot in their mouth last offseason and said, we want to make Jamar Chase the top paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Well, guess what? You're going to have to go over $40 million a year annually in order to be able to do it, when they could have done it last year where there was all that lip service. And now you have T. Higgins on receiving the franchise tag. And then now you're kind of pigeonholed into doing this with limited cap space. So, that just goes to show. Don't run your mouth. Take care of your homegrown players. Pay them. Make sure they get paid what they're worth.
All these teams going to be doing cap gymnastics over the next couple of weeks leading into the draft. Everybody wants to make it to the top. Super Bowl appearance. Two teams making some big moves already. Of course, the Jets. Aaron Rodgers no longer there. They have also released Davante Adams. He is signed with the LA Rams. So we thinking Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford just re-signed a huge deal. So that offense is looking to be clicking next season. But in division rival Seattle Seahawks, what is going on? Trading DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quarterback leaves, goes to the Raiders. No more Geno Smith. No more Pete Carroll. So right now, heading into next season, it is Sam Darnold who recently signed a deal, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. That sounds like their offense. Of course, they got Kenny Walker and Zach Charbonnet out the backfield. But Lockett's gone as well, so that offense is literally looking like a shell of itself. What is going on with the Seahawks? What's the end game here, Sean? Are they looking to be competitive, or is this essentially a reset?
I think that they're still maintaining that competitiveness. That defense is building. They gained some assets and getting a 3rd-round pick for Geno Smith. Shout out to him, because now he's reunited with his head coach Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. DK Metcalf, God knows how that's gonna work, because they don't have a quarterback right now. You don't know two of the angriest wide receivers as the X and the Y, bro. How is that even gonna work out? But I think that they are pivoting to be able to position themselves with optimal cap room and having draft picks as assets to be able to fill the holes that they needed on that football team. They have a need at defensive line. They have a need at the linebacker position. They have a need on the offensive line. Did I say offensive line or did I say defensive line?
Defensive.
Both lines.
Yeah, both fronts are on both sides of the ball. And they also have a glaring need at wide receiver now. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's already proven himself last season. He can be an X, he can be a guy that you can count on and rely on in tough spots. So I think that the Seahawks understand the climate of the division as well. They can see where the 49ers are and see where the Rams are, and they're not too far off from the Rams, although the Rams did make it to the NFC Championship. But they are a young football team with an aging quarterback.
No, they made it to
and when they look at the land, my bad, they made it to the divisional. But you're looking at that team and you're saying, well, they can compete in a pinch against all 3 of those teams, and we don't know what the Cardinals are doing. So
to the Giants.
Yeah, I like what the Seahawks did. Mortgaging their future.
Well, let's flip it over to the other conference where DK Metcalf is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Darnell, as Sean mentioned, Pittsburgh Steelers now have 2 of the biggest crash outs, as the young dudes say these days. George Pickens and DK Metcalf on that same roster. What is the best case scenario for them at quarterback? Last we're hearing is that potentially Aaron Rodgers, allegedly it's between the Steelers and the Giants. Russ Wilson still has no home, but what can the Steelers even do to kind of salvage and round this thing out?
I mean, it's weird because I thought Russ gave him some stability. He had some flashes in the pan last year for sure. But I think that offense just needs to get like a dynamic. It just needs something dynamic from it, and I think a lot of it, I'm not going to blame Russ. I think a lot of it is Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith's playbook is pretty reminiscent of how he was in Tennessee, and they just lost Najee Harris as well. So what exactly is the identity of the team? You made this big splash for DK. You don't have a quarterback yet. So what exactly are you going to be doing next? So I think if I'm a betting man, I would say Aaron Rodgers is going to probably go to Pittsburgh. But, as I heard one commentator say too, like if Aaron Rodgers comes to the Giants and ends up winning 9 games for the Giants, he's going to be seen as a hero. He goes to Pittsburgh, he wins 9 games. Like, we do that every year. Like, what's different? So
yeah, that's true.
It is a matter of, look, we got to admit it, man. Like, a more stable organization is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is
that a problem? Is that a problem for Mike Tomlin then in that case? Is he somebody who should remain in the spot where he is?
Well, as I said,
that kind of middling mediocrity?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're known for their stability. You know what I mean? And mediocre is going to get you home. You know what I'm saying? That mediocre is that Uber cab that comes and pick you up at 2:00 in the morning when you need to get home. That's mediocre. So he's going to get you home. If the organization, if they do decide to go with Aaron Rodgers, I think that's a pivot of them saying like, hey, we're close. We have a short window with Minka, TJ. We got to do something. You know what I mean? So
maneuvers, do you still expect to see success for your Steelers next season, regardless of who's at quarterback? Najee Harris is also gone, joining the LA Chargers. But I know they have no hesitation handing the ball off to Jalen Warren and just continuing that train.
Yeah, so I will give Darnell some credit. He did a really good coverage of the Steelers and where the organization sits right now. I was kind of hurt that question didn't come my way. But I will say that you know, the standard is the standard. You know, I mean, whether you want to call it mediocre, whether you want to call it average, like Mike Tomlin's gonna have his guys ready to compete. They're gonna be ready to make a playoff push because I think the mindset is once you get into the second season, you can do anything from there. I will say that I would prefer for Aaron Rodgers to go to, and it's funny because we're talking about the two teams that I like, the Steelers and the Giants. I would prefer for him to go to the Giants, just because it, like, we're used to failing. So if he fails,
This would be par for the course.
it's par for the course. But I also feel like it is then like inevitable that we are moving into a new era in terms of GM head coach. We're looking to rebuild, and then I can start to kind of feel as a Giants fan like, hey, like things are going to get better eventually. Right now, I don't see that. If he goes to the Steelers, it's like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
I don't want him to tear down, you know. But Mike T is a great coach. Go ahead, sir.
But both teams are in QB hell, right? Because if you have a Russell Wilson, let's just say you re-up on a Russell Wilson or you re-up on an Aaron Rodgers, and they win middle of the pack games, where does that put you next year in the draft for you to be able to take a quarterback? The Giants are in a more advantageous position because they pick at 3, you can get your guy. The Steelers, on the other hand, they have to make moves, trade commodities, trade draft picks in order to be able to put themselves in that position.
I hear you. I mean, I would prefer Russell Wilson on the Steelers, and here's why. One, the problem is going to remain that Arthur Smith offense sucks. That's number one. But I think Russell Wilson in that offense for a second year, healthy, full training camp, another weapon on the outside, a young dynamic back, with that defense, playing defense on the other side of the ball. I think the Steelers are better positioned with bringing Russell Wilson back into the fold and running it back.
Let's not forget he already has that chemistry with DK.
He already has chemistry with DK. He's built some rapport with Pickens, and like Russ keeps getting this really bad rap, but he's not playing bad football in the moments where he's allowed to play football. Like it is definitely Arthur Smith's offense. Like in the play calling is horrendous at times.
I'm atrocious.
Into your my bad, MJB. Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
good.
Sorry.
I was gonna switch gears, but I just wanted to keep maneuvers on tab here because this impacts one of his guys. You know, age-old adage is that, you know, in order to win championships in these professional leagues, it is an organizational push. No matter how good the player is, the organization needs to make moves and put pieces in place to make that come to fruition. You know, teams like the Steelers are doing things to, you know, try to extend their window, when other teams, it's very questionable that they're allowing moves to happen that's closing their window very, very fast. And that one team is the San Francisco 49ers. I want to take a look at this list here because there's been so many players that are no longer on the team. I don't try and leave anybody out. Deebo Samuel, gone. Kyle Juszczyk, gone. Javon Hargrave, gone. Leonard Floyd, gone. Javarius Ward, gone. Talana Hufanga, gone. Dre Greenlaw, gone. Elijah Mitchell, gone.
Juszczyk.
I said Kyle.
Juszczyk?
I said Kyle. Gone.
Oh,
so, and the latest I seen, your boy Brock Purdy, a deal on his extension is not imminent. So the 49ers franchise seem to be in flux. You know, that entire division is kind of in flux right now. And you think about the Cardinals, and, you know, they're probably going to be moving off of Kyler Murray here at some point in the near future. He's been there for a couple years now. You know, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. in there, you know, trying to shore up the quarterback position for him for years to come. But yeah, I mean, Matt Stafford and the Rams, they just got Davante Adams. They're going to try to make another push at it, but it seems like the 49ers are going the opposite end from Super Bowl to Super Bust. So that's what it's looking like. It's coming down for the pipe. Bust. So maneuvers, just give me your thoughts real quick on the Niners, Brock Purdy's extension. According to you, and I support you with this, I feel like he deserves the extension. He's proved it. But to a lot of media members and a lot of fans out there, with a depleted looking offense, this is going to be the year where we really see who Brock Purdy is, having to operate with less weapons than he typically does.
I think we're going to see a great Brock Purdy. I think the 49ers Super Bowl window is closed for sure. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl with this roster, but they definitely will compete in the NFC West. They could still possibly win the NFC West, given what's happening with the other teams. I think from a football perspective, it sounds like a big splash. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, the Rams got, Davante Adams. Yeah, that's great, but he's a far different receiver than what Cooper Kupp is. And I keep saying it, and I don't know if people listen to me. What Cooper Kupp did in that Rams offense was far greater than catching the ball. So Davante Adams is not. He's not the same type of receiver.
Quick question for you, Maneuvers. 3 destinations. Cooper Kupp. Where do you think best suits him?
3 destinations for Cooper Kupp.
I'll kick it. I'll give you mine. Texans.
You asked me.
Chargers. I'll help you. Texans. Chargers. Chiefs.
I don't need help. Chiefs. Bengals. Bills.
Dylan, and Dylan.
I think in any one of those offenses, he fits in really well. I think he's super dangerous in Buffalo.
Hey,
very
Washington, man. Washington going all in. They gonna bring everybody.
They don't have
bring everybody.
But to wrap up the question, like I said, Super Bowl window's closed. I think Brock Purdy's gonna. I mean, they've lost a lot, but they kind of still have some.
They still got guys.
They still got guys. So let's not get. Ayuk's gonna be back. He just signed his deal. He's gonna be back healthy. They still got CMC. I mean, they got a squad. It's just
CMC.
Christian McCaffrey.
You do realize he went to like 5 different countries in Europe to try to get a like. Let's not. Come on,
Yeah.
he just announced that he's a dad, bro. He's pregnant. He's not worried about playing football no more.
Listen,
He's
right now,
pregnant is crazy.
Whatever you say, and the one guy that's still on that roster that is always gonna matter,
George Kittle.
is they got George Kittle. So
Yeah.
So okay, I would say
they're gonna compete in NFC West. They're Super Bowl probably not. NFC West divisional round is what their ceiling's looking like right now.
I would say this. I'm not gonna keep it too long. The 49ers have been playing pause. They have been playing crazy house money for I don't know how long. Look,
house money.
Oh yeah, they've been trying.
They've had expectation,
but I said as far as the whole concept of what they were doing, they were the amount of money they were giving out that they knew the chickens came back to roost.
They weren't paying. They're
yes, they weren't paying nobody.
They're not in a bad position.
Yes, they are. Why did they gotta let everybody go?
No, they're not in a
They
bad
gave Christian McCaffrey a new contract. They gave Debo and Ayuk a new contract. Bosa. Bro, it's only a matter of time for that house would have crumbled. You know, and what really, even though they do still draft well, and I know you don't want to admit it, even though they did end up winning and going to those different games, that Lance trade that they did do when they mortgaged so many picks for that trade, that's going to be one of the defining marks for Kyle Shanahan in the future. Because it's you went on a guy that had very little experience, but I think a lot of it too, we gotta admit it, bro. Kyle has a lot of hubris, and he thought he was going to try to do this. So now, once you got all of these glue guys gone, okay, let me see what you do with Brock Purdy. Iowa State quarterback Brock Purdy. We'll see what's going to happen then. But I don't think it's going to be the same thing. I think we have to be very honest about them. The window is not that it's closed. It's slammed shut. And it's going to go back to the time before when they were just the meddling 49ers again for like 20 years. They're not going to be the same team. Because I still think, even though Matthew Stafford moves on from the Rams still have a very young core. I think Seattle, they'll probably be in the bottom of the drums, but I still don't think they'll be that team. And you only get so many chances. Just look at the Bills, bro. You go back so many chances.
No, 30 seconds. Brock Purdy, you still got Trent Williams anchoring that left-hand side.
Trent Williams is like 40 years
old.
old.
Hold on. You got Ricky Purcell. You got
Ricky Purcell?
You got Jawan Jennings. You got Jawan Jennings. You got Brandon Ayuk. You still got CMC in that backfield. You still have core offense and like Kittle was mentioned. You still have Kittle. You have core offensive players, and you still haven't paid Brock Purdy yet, and you've created a ton of cap space. Right. Also, you have the upcoming draft to be able to fill in the spots where they've lost players, and this is the perfect draft to be able to get auxiliary guys.
6 games.
That's fine. But I think that the Niners are in better shape. The Niners are in better shape than people are anticipating. Back to you.
6 games.
And they got $30 million in cap space for this year, bro. You're tripping.
Who is out there? Who is out there to sign?
It doesn't matter. They have
the greatest quarterback ever just got signed to the Colts, bro. Like, what other? Who is there to sign?
All right, let's move
back
on.
to you,
well, Sean, if
I just want to go on record and say this because I think it's no saying. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Phil. I know I said I wasn't, but I gotta say this. Darnell is the ultimate 49ers hater, and I do not understand why. It's crazy how
honest, man. Honest.
Sean, if Darnell's right, that means Debo went from one team playing with house money to another team that was playing with house money last year. Washington Commanders got a couple moves there. Adding Laramie Tunsil, Javon Kinlaw, re-signing Bobby Wagner and Zach Ertz. Maneuvers all year said we can't say that, Jaden Daniels is the lead and he can't say he's top 10 because teams weren't ready for him. We got to wait till year 2 so they have a full season of tape. Talk to me about expectations for the Commanders this year. Do you think they will get as far as they reach in Jaden Daniels' rookie year?
I think that they will. Those are sound pickups that they made. Sound contributors to be able to plug into
with
spots that with help. You know what I mean? Losing Jonathan Allen really hurts. He went to the Vikings on a deal. But you get a former All-Pro in Laramie Tunsil. You know what I mean? Sure enough, that left tackle position. Like you mentioned, we get Javon Kinlaw from the Jets, who fills that Allen spot on the defensive line. Listen, they re-signed Zach Ertz. They get back Bobby Wagner. Yeah, they're aging vets, but they're steady vets. They are consistent vets in spots where they are gonna need it. You know what I mean? Frankie Louisville was playing great football. St. Juice is playing great football at the corner spot. They are an ascending team. My question to the group is, and I'll start with you, Peter Guns. How do you feel? How do you feel about the Commanders contending for the NFC East crown?
I mean, I hate to admit it, but they have shown the blueprint. Granted, I would say this: it's gonna be hard for them to replicate. I think they won like 7 games by like the last play of the game or the last score, within 3 points or something like that. But sometimes you just need like a little bit of confidence, and you just got enough to say like, look, wait, we weren't even that good last year. We weren't even planning to win, and we got to the NFC Championship game. So that's a lot for they could really build on that. So the ownership and what Dan Quinn, man, shout out to Dan Quinn, man, shout out to Clean.
Great job.
For
great job
for really rewriting their narrative of who they were. Like Dan Quinn blew the Super Bowl. Cliff Kingsbury, all right, he's got a nice crib. But, other than that, they were seen as just failures, you know what I mean, in a weird sense. But to come back that first year with a new ownership group and to take that team to actually go and defeat, the Lions, I mean, how can you bet against them? And I know the Eagles got them in the NFC Championship game, but you can't tell me with those moves that they did, Philly is like, oh, yeah, it's definitely, yeah. Because Philly lost some guys, too. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we'll be excited to see it, Hopefully our New York Giants can pull off something and be competitive this year.
No.
If we see one thing,
bro. Tank for Archie.
But hitting on that quarterback can immediately change the trajectory of your franchise.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought Manu was about to say he looked like he was gearing up.
No, I just want to say, I just wanted to say his name is Arch, number one, and number two is the Commanders ain't getting nobody no damn blueprint. That's the blueprint that every team follows. Don't give away your assets. Draft a young quarterback and hope he plays well, and have the stuff around him when he
build around him.
That's what it is.
Everyone's blueprint.
Shout out to Joe Shane's son talking about I like Jaden Daniels.
I don't want to talk about it no more. But a lot of other noteworthy transactions. Josh Allen, 6 years, 330 M's, 250 guaranteed on top of that MVP. How's that for data? J.C. Horn, highest paid corner in NFL history, got an extension from the Panthers, 4 for 100. Well, you gonna get to it. You're gonna get to it. Bucks re-signing Chris Godwin, 3 years, $66 million. Yo, it's crazy he came back, because that was the whole talk between him and Mike Evans. Like, did we see him play? Did we see Godwin play his last game with Tampa Bay? With that injury. Hopefully he comes back fully healthy. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones re-signing with the Vikings, 2 years over there. Sounding like it's about to be the J.J. McCarthy show, because Sam Darnold, as we discussed before, is out of there on the Seahawks now. Giants signing Javon Holland. Sean loved that play. Paulson Adebo, and of course our former New York Football Giant Daniel Indiana Jones, now on the Indianapolis Colts, getting a 1 year, $7 million. It's crazy when you look at the dichotomy between him and Anthony Richardson. It's gonna be like
Indiana
I don't even know.
Funny as hell.
Panthers released Miles Sanders, and they inked Trooper Hubbard to a new deal. Eagles trading C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Texans. Him and Stigley on both ends. Good luck going up against that in the division. And Jonathan Allen joining the Vikings on a 3 year, $60 million deal. Maneuver, Sean. Actually, I'm going to go to you first, because I know you had something to say real early. But, Josh Allen he inked that deal right after that MVP.
But real quick, before we get into that, another move made by Buffalo. They just re-signed Josh Allen, right, to a mega contract. But they just made a deal with Joey Bolster to bring him in. Shout out Adam Schefter.
When did that
shout
happen?
out to Adam Schefter. Just while I was putting my fingers.
No way.
Hold on.
Wow.
A one year deal for $12 million. So they get rid of Von Miller in a cap move, and then bring in Joey Bolster, who has, if not better, productivity at a discount. So $12 million for a player like him. Wow. Where did you see that?
It's happening. They're gonna bring Von Miller back.
It's happening. He got inside info, y'all.
Yeah, but for me, the moves, the Patriots, I know we didn't really touch on them, but they had a ton of cap. They had over $128 million in cap space. They went out and got
How did that work out the last time they did it, though?
It sucked. Because they went and got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry as their primary weapons, and that didn't work out. But they have Mike Vrabel at the helm, so maybe it might be a change. Or he's got a couple of familiar pieces with him now, so that's going to be really well. I really like what the Giants did, upgrading their secondary. You got Paulson Adebo, and then you got Javon Holland, who's a young ascending safety. You got two guys on the corner. Now you got somebody
replacing X.
Yeah, you got somebody on the other side of Banks being able to play well, and then we got our corner. I can't remember his name right now, but he's nice from North Carolina. Number 22.
You mean Drew? You mean Drew?
Yeah.
No, he's from Kentucky.
Kentucky, my bad. But listen, with those three corners, you have a nice young core, and then you still have the pass rush. You're able to get homeboy from Dallas, so I think that the Giants did really well. Listen, that Jonathan Allen going to the Vikings is huge. People don't know how big that is.
Talk about
and
JC
and JC Horn being the top paid cornerback in the NFL. One of the best young corners in the NFL.
What team he play for?
Stop, man. He plays for the Panthers.
Who he plays for?
NFL Siberia, bro. It don't matter.
Listen. Top.
Be a better
you
team
keep in contrast to the Giants. You keep your best and you pay them like they're the best.
Right.
Wow. Be a better team than everyone's expecting this year. Mark my words. They're going to be a really good team.
They played well. They played well down the stretch.
Is that inside information you got from Steve Smith?
Might win this out. Anyway, I did have the one comment. I personally was surprised that Josh Allen didn't get paid more. And I was shocked by that. And I think that it could be a good thing for team
cap space.
Yeah, cap space. Yeah. Because Buffalo is tough. He
pulled the Pat Mahomes maneuver.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. Like Buffalo is not like in the summertime. It's nice, man.
We ain't trying to go over there.
Yeah, once you get past September 29th, man, you ain't trying to go to Buffalo.
But I mean, they about to get a new stadium.
Right.
They are.
And new stadium is crazy too, man. It's insane.
New stadium. The fans are great. They're well rated as an organization. So it could be a destination now that the money's available.
Yeah. Well, fellas, every player going into the NFL wants to reach this point of free agency where they can control their own destination, sign for max dollars, and it starts nowhere other than the draft and the combine. And of course, this year we're continuing to see the trend with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward opting to forego combine performances and just trying to go hard for the pro day. So maneuvers, we're gonna stick with you. Talk to me about the top of the draft, where you expect these guys to go. At this point, all the rumors and all the media talk, all the podcasts, it's sounding like Cam Ward is going to be off the board before Shedeur. It kind of also sounds like Shedeur probably has an idea where he's going already. Last I heard, it was down to 2 teams, and it's probably some wink, situations going on there. So talk to me about the top of the draft. Any jockeying pause from any of the teams you expect, and where you expect to see these young men go.
I just want to go on record. I'm going to say it so that it's recorded and the people know.
And we putting it on wax.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing. Because we're not doing that,
right? Well, I said this to you guys, and I want to say it for the public. Giants, trade back, get more picks, sign Jameis Winston, get some receivers, not named Darius Slayton, and get some offensive linemen and get Jameis Winston. Just throw the pill around the yard. At least make it exciting, make it fun. Like build some capital so that we can go out and fill the many, 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 many holes that we have. Let us not draft another quarterback, and then in 3 years have to be worrying about like paying him. Like let's build a team and draft a quarterback in 3 years.
Yeah.
That's
my that. Heard that. Sean, where do you expect these young men to go?
Cam Ward is going to be very sought after between 1 and 3. I think that the Titans would be foolish to trade out of that spot and look for additional commodities to make their team better. I think that your commodity is right there. Go when you get Cam Ward. He is the best quarterback in the draft. As far as the Cleveland Browns go, I think that it can go either way. I think that their move to be able to go get what's his name from the Eagles, Kenny Pickett, kind of tells their hand that they're not necessarily concentrating on getting a quarterback at number 2. They're probably going to look at pass rush, Abdul Carter, likely. And at number 3, if the Giants are sensible, they will get a franchise-altering player like a Shedeur Sanders, who has done it at Jackson State. He's done it at Colorado. He's had 5 different offensive coordinators, and he is someone that will change the culture, make guys play more loose. He's used to the spotlight being on him. He's built for New York. I vote Shedeur Sanders, QB1 for the New York Giants.
Ooh, Darnell, do you oppose?
No, because I said I'm all about them Canes. All about them Canes, and I would love to get Cam Ward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would listen, Cam Ward has he has the gunslinger mentality that you would love to see in your quarterback now. Yes, he makes mistakes, but Brian Daboll, if you could transform Josh Allen and make him into what he is now, you could transform somebody else. So you have the blueprint as far as you have the playbook as far as knowing what you need to do. And I said, like, the biggest thing I love what Dan Orlovsky had a great take. He said, Giants, you know what? Sign Aaron Rodgers, trade down. But I'm just saying, he said he's actually really good. He actually pretty makes sense. Sign Aaron Rodgers, trade down, get another offensive weapon for him. Probably draft like a Jalen Milroe or I like Jackson Dart as well out of Ole Miss because he played with that Lincoln.
He's pretty good.
He's a really in that system he played not in Lincoln Riley with oh my gosh.
He's a solid QB. He's gonna be really good.
You know what I'm saying? So I would say you draft Aaron Rodgers, get Aaron Rodgers, trade back, get a few picks because you know somebody wants to be at a third. Trade back, get like one of the best. You'll probably get Campbell from LSU, and just do that. You know, and if you
you and Maneuvers are of the opinion that we should take the 49ers route. The quarterback for now.
No.
I am not opposed to that either.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, somebody that you could kind of like coach up and get them ready, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, after what happened last season and how nobody wants to sign up for Hard Knocks is currently UNC. Right now, they need to say, I'm pretty sure Mara's like on the phone talking to Steve Sarkisian, who's like, yo, we're going to come get that kid when he comes out. Because that's the only way for that franchise to rectify, to bring a Manning to come and play quarterback. That's the only way they could do it. Because what they did...
You lost me. Let's wrap it up. You lost me.
How I lost you?
Listen, man. Listen,
back to you, JB.
We're going to go to Arch? We're talking about Arch already?
All I know is if we pass up on one of these young men and they turn into a star, John Mara is flipping everything in that office. Everybody's out of there. But y'all know what to do. Go like, subscribe, comment on all this on the content. You know, hit us up on the YouTube, X, Instagram. You know, Blue Sky, all that good stuff. TikTok. You know, we out of here. Maneuver Sean, Too Smooth, and Peter Guns. We out of here.
Peace.
We out.